Hi folks, welcome back to our barbecue area project. Today is all about getting the sub base down. This is the same prep that you'd do for a patio or a path or a concrete slab even. And this is how we're going to do it. Stick around and I'll show you how. Now, a bit of background. This area was just absolutely overgrown and riddled with roots and ivy and bindweed. I don't want to be spending 2-3 days each year weeding this area, so the chance of everything growing back up that wall was pretty high. Hence why I battened some weed fabric to the wall. That's in addition to the geotextile that we're using anyway. It's kind of belts and braces, it's more over the top, but that's the reason for those before you start asking questions. Well, another day and another dig. I'd say we're on the home straight now. Let me show you where we're at with the digging. This whole thing has taken me about 2 days and I've filmed very little of it because even with the best music track and the fastest of time lapses, I'm not sure it would have looked that exciting, but here's where we are. So this corner is not too bad. We're aiming to come down just below this concrete block wall. Reclaimed a load of stone, which will go up into the pile, which is going to be used to face the garage at some point. And I'm gradually working this down, and again, we're almost there. This lump's got to come out, and then this side is already done. So we did that when we had the digger, when we were sensible, a few years back. I'm surprised these cameras last more than a day. This one took a dive onto the concrete and the lens is cracked on one side of the mounting plate. So you might find that one side of me is a little bit blurry, but that's probably not a bad thing. Now, because we had that huge build-up of soil and everything here, it sent out some growth from the side of the bottom of the tree here. And also, if you build up soil, you can either rot the bottom of the tree, or if it's a grafted tree, you can have issues. So what I've done is just brought out the reciprocating saw, because there's so much gravel and grit in here and stones that are kind of grown up in around it, that I don't want to hit that with a chain, nor do I really fancy cutting this with a handsaw right now. So an old blade and a reciprocating saw should do the trick. How much easier is that than getting a chainsaw out and wrecking a chain? If we get it with a clean cut, we can wash it off and just leave it. Alright, so sometimes the power tool isn't the answer. I did almost all of it, but it was just a bit too much down the bottom. Alright, let's just square that off and then we're done. In here, we had loads of soil, we've got weeds growing in there, we had full of wood lice. So this would have eventually rotted out probably, so I'm glad we've done that. We'll just keep that exposed for now until it dries off and cures. That's better.
We wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things.
Yeah,
You look cool. Where you been?
to the post box.
Before I sleep, hear the crickets, see the
There's more here. There's that more.
side by side and through and through.
Alright, it's a family affair today. We've got Joe, he's filling the barrows, the girls are coming back and forward. Well, I'm doing the heavy barrowing. They're taking the empties back. Now, as far as grading it out, if you use a rake, then you end up picking up all the big bits and leaving the fines, the small stuff behind, which is not what it's meant to be, because you need a good mix there for it to compact. So using a concrete rake or some sort of hoe or just shoveling it is far better, even though you think, oh, I'll rake it out. It's not like gravel. You need to have a good mix. I was aiming for just below this bottom timber as our finished height. We can probably come in 50mm below that.
What we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are fine.
Alright. It's funny waking up next to a wheelbarrow. You missed out on all the fun. So we've stuck a few pegs in the ground around the place just so we know roughly where our falls are, because this is the point where you want to start getting your levels right. There's no point in leaving it until the last stage, whether that's patio slabs or loose gravel, because you're going to end up using more mortar or more gravel. This stuff is the cheapest, and it's also the best way to get everything at the right level. You can then put an even layer of whatever your top covering is on there and know that you're already set. So I've compacted in around 40-50mm layers, which is about right for this size machine. You don't want to be sticking the whole lot of 75mm, 100mm sub-base in and trying to compact the lot down in one. So it's good to layer it up, and that gives you a chance to adjust as you go. What's going on? Bit of messy play? You're eating chive flowers. Bit of rosemary, chive, dandelion, daisy. What is it? Oh, more chives. She's going to smell like garlic bread. So the last thing I did at this point was to face this concrete step. There's a short concrete wall which we discovered under all that rubble, and I've decided that we had 3 sleepers left. I actually need to pick up one more, I think. We'd face that block, single block high, with an oak sleeper, and by the time we dressed up to it with the final compacted gravel on the next layer, then it would be about the right height for a step. What I'm doing now is just we've got that concrete wall there, and it's going to fix in. I've got a mixture of bolts that will just about bite in, some chunky ones that I'll do each end, and then some thin skinny ones. I mean, this is really just to stop them from tipping, and once everything's compacted in, they're unlikely to go anywhere, but it'll at least hold them plumb. But again, like the other side, I'm going to drill a 25mm hole, and then we can tap a little dowel in there to cover up any fixings. If you're in need of any spade bits, I can recommend these new ones that I just bought, the Bosch ones. They just really bite in and they pull you in. On the oak, I mean, softwood, they just fly through. With the oak, you really have to brace yourself, because they're going all the way in, and they kind of not bind up, They never stall because they're cutting so well, but yeah, they've got such a serrated bit on that tip of the drill, but they'll really grab it. And I know I harp on about stainless steel fixings with oak. Are these stainless steel? No. But are they going to last 5-10 years? Yes. They're not going to go anywhere. And that's all I have, and we're using what we have for all these projects at the moment. So washer, 10mm hole straight through, and then either socket, or if I can find something that will fit the impact driver, we'll throw that in there. If you were doing this in a really thorough way, then I would suggest using, like we did on the porch, stainless steel fixings epoxied into the wall or concrete that you're going into. But this should do the job. Let's find a socket. And you'd also want to be blowing out the hole or vacuuming it out to get rid of all the dust. Now I know the 25mm hole takes a socket, but if you're not, if your hole isn't right in the middle, that ain't gonna go. Well, third time lucky, they managed to fit in and managed to get the socket inside that hole too. So I did all the big ones, and then I had some of these 150mm concrete screws. I threw 2 of those in the centre of each as well, just for belts and braces. My 6mm long drill bit was nowhere to be found, so out came Grandpa's old Black & Decker, which always does the job when needed. So we've ended up with about 100mm on average of this Type 1 sub-base, which is a dust to 50mm mix. Everywhere sells it under a different name or a different colour, but essentially it's a fairly standardised type thing which self-binds together. You're going to need to do at least 100mm for a patio or a path, ideally more, but remember to just keep compacting it in layers. We'll go over this once more before we lay our self-binding gravel. We'll be featuring that video in a few weeks' time, and I'm really impressed with how it's come out. It's a semi-permanent, maybe even permanent option for us. We didn't necessarily want to lay a whole second patio down here, and I think it was just like the happy middle ground. It's something that looks the part, it's easy to maintain, it's really solid once it's installed properly, and we can come back over it if we really wanted to and lay a patio over it. I don't think there'd be any issue with that, but certainly from a budget and a time perspective, it's really worked out well. But like I said, that'll be in a few weeks' time. Lots more coming up next week, but thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.